It wasn't supposed to be like this for Google. Falling advertising rates, disappointing profits, and a mistimed earnings release. The internet's go-to search engine surprised the market this afternoon when it reported its third quarter results. They weren't expected until after the closing bell tonight, but instead they were released without authorization, according to Google, by the company's financial printing company. It wasn't a pleasant surprise. Google earned $9.03 per share, down from a year ago, and $1.62 below estimates. Yes, Google's search engine continues to see more use, but the prices Google charges for its core search advertisement product fell. The number of times visitors clicked on search ads was up 33%, but the prices advertisers paid for those clicks was down 15%.
It only becomes a concern when you see the cost of the clicks decreasing at a rate faster than the clicks are growing. When there's more clicks, the inventory and how the auction basis of it goes is that the more the clicks there are going to be, the lower it's going to cost people at the end of the day.
Then there's Google's newest division, Motorola Mobility. In May, Google spent $12.5 billion for Motorola's cell phone business. While Motorola added more than $2.5 billion in sales in its first full quarter with Google, the division still lost money, more than $500 million. Because the news was not expected until after the close tonight, trading in Google shares was halted for 2.5 hours. It restarted with less than an hour before the closing bell, and the stock fell 8%, closing at a 5-week low. James Dix covers Google as an analyst at Wedbush Morgan Securities. He joins us at the NASDAQ. James, I want to start with the ad rates here. 4 quarters in a row now, Google has seen the amount it gets paid per click fall, down 15% this past quarter, 16% a quarter ago, 12% at the beginning of the year, and late last year down 8%. Is it making up for the lower prices by selling more, though?
Yes, I think in part that is what's happening. One thing you should pay attention to a little bit this quarter is you had a currency impact on the cost per click. If you excluded the impact of currency, it would have been down around 8%, which is a little bit better actually than we saw in the second quarter. But generally speaking, the company says, hey, look at both click growth, which was 33%, as well as cost per click, which was declining. Together, that's what gets you your ad revenue. And together, those trends still were pretty good, although not quite as good as expected.
Let's talk about ad revenue overall. Is it representing this movement to mobile, that it's seeing higher traffic but a lower ad rate per click?
Certainly, the company talked about that as well once again on its call this afternoon, that mobile doesn't monetize as well on a per-click basis as desktop. They've explained, and I think it makes sense, it's a little harder to monetize a mobile click. Right. It's harder to buy something off a mobile phone, and so that accounts for that difference. They think it's going to converge over time.
Essentially, people looking at Google on their cell phone or tablet aren't as valuable as people looking at Google on old school personal computers. What about the Motorola integration? We're a quarter in now. It's still losing money. Does that hold hope of turning a profit eventually, or possibly being broken up and Google taking those patents? Motorola
missed a little bit on the expectations in terms of the operating loss. It was a little higher than I was expecting. I don't think it was a material impact in terms of how people looked at the quarter. I think there's still a potential that the company pairs some of the business lines that it stays in. That could potentially also help the profit of the business. But I fully expect them to try to make that a profitable business going forward.
I looked at the press release and there was a word missing, Android. Android was not actually mentioned in the press release. What about on the conference call? What are the possibilities here for Android? It gives it away, but is it able to monetize it, make money from it?
Yeah, I mean, they did mention Android. I guess it's averaging around 1.3 million activations daily right now. I think that's part of their mobile growth story. They're part of their mobile growth strategy. So there's no question Android is essential to them, and it's going to become important as they move more into the tablet space, both with the Nexus, which they're launching this quarter, as well as other products, which presumably they'll be using Motorola to build.
James, real quick, under 700, are you a buyer?
At this level, it doesn't excite me. I mean, My price target is 690.
All right, about just below where it is. Do you have a position yourself?
I do not.
James Dix covering Google for Wedbush Morgan.